Happening and how it can all tie up. And we kicked off the week on Monday, and we kicked off with me. And I introduced you to a thing called Daydream Believers. Okay. And Eva's put a link into the website for Daydream Believers with a thing called Solarpunk Island. Now, we weren't having Daydream Believers do this. We were just getting this as an idea, as a prompt for you guys to go off and work on. So what you were actually looking at was the theoretical. You're on a boat, if you remember, if you were here on Monday. If not, don't worry about it, because it doesn't matter if you missed it or not. The ideas are still there. But we started on Monday thinking about, we were on a boat, the boat's navigation system get damaged, and people were having to find an island and having to build a community. So one of the first things that I did was I had you design a flag. And here's the Did You Learn Scot flag. So remember, we had a little bit of an introduction about what makes a good flag. Some people were taking part in saying that the reason we have flags is flags give us the opportunity to identify who we are, what we stand for. You can look at flags and you can tell. Even I think, for those of you that were here at the start, I like Formula One, and Formula One uses flags to let you know red means danger, blue means pass, green means go, yellow means warning. So you have colour flags, and you've got black and white and checkered and all that kind of stuff. But flags are an identity. It's part of who you are. It means that people can see things, it's going to be safe. If people see the skull and crossbones, it might mean that there's danger. So I've designed a Did You Learn Scot flag. Now I've split it up into 2/3 and 1/3. I did this in Keynote on the iPad, but you could do this in PowerPoint. You could draw this, you could do anything at all. And this is giving you an identity. Now, I've taken the blue of the Scottish flag and the white of the Saltire, and I've said, you know what, I'm going to make them block to let people know that there's still a connection to Scotland, because we are Did You Learn Scot. We're part of Education Scotland. We're part of Scottish Government. We're part of helping teachers. And then I'm putting the big D, and the big D has Swift for coding. It's got, I think the eagle-eyed might be able to see a Sphero, a YouTube logo, a camera, a video camera, a pencil, a Wi-Fi symbol, an AR symbol, accessibility, an iPad, everything that kind of goes together with who we are and what we try to do when it comes to technology. So I think that's quite a good flag for identifying. And if you haven't taken part in the flag activity, or you are wanting to do some more, I've got this QR code. Now, teachers can scan this if they want. This will take them to a OneDrive link that has a PowerPoint file. I should have had the link beforehand so that Eva could put it into the chat, but that was my bad planning. But hopefully Eva will get a chance to get this and put a link to it in the chat. It's just a PowerPoint file, and this PowerPoint file just has some flags. Let me show you what it looks like. So if I open my recent, there we go. It just has what we would call the 12 basic flag styles. And if you watch that video that we did, or that we put a video out that was all about what makes a good flag, color, identity. So we just have all of these that you can start to play about with, change the color, even put the Saltire in at the end, because we're Scottish. So that file is there for people to download if they want. So that was the first session that we did. Okay, that was the first session that we did, the live lesson on Monday, where we were just having an idea. We were setting the scene. We were talking about what we wanted to achieve. On Tuesday, we were lucky to have the guys from Adobe speak to us. And Adobe is an app that will soon, fingers crossed for some of you, for all of you, for everybody, when it gets through, will be available through Glow. It's a big kind of suite of things that you can do. You can create anything. You can create images, you can create video, you can create posters, you can use a lot of different aspects that come together. But the idea that the guys from Adobe went through was creating a profile of the buddy that you might have who's going to help you on your island. So you had to think about a few things. So you could create this poster in Word, you could create this poster in PowerPoint and doing a Google image search. There's lots of different things that you could do that the guys at Adobe did just all in the one place. But essentially, you would come together and you would maybe think about creating a profile. So I've created a profile here for my buddy on the island called Shred Maverick, right? And I went and asked ChatGPT to give me a really cool name for a teenage extreme sports person who would be good at helping me survive, a really creative name. And ChatGPT gave me Shred Maverick, which I think is a pretty cool name. Okay. The other thing I did was he's 3 stars, right? He's the guy that I want to help me because he can build campfires, he can build shelter, he's really good at fixing things, he's got first aid, he's good at navigating, he's good at helping me find things. So if I was stuck on an island and I had to build a community, Shred Maverick would be a pretty good guy to have with me. You know, they're definitely they're good at reading maps. They're good at fixing and creating. They're good at fixing and creating shelter. They've got really good stamina and strength, which means they're going to be great at helping me find things and carry things and bring things together. You know, a really kind of good person to have. So this could be a fact file that would go with my island to kind of say, right, I'm stuck on this island. I'm going to have to build a community. This is the guy that's going to help me do it. He was on the boat with me, but by any kind of luck, he also has these very particular set of skills. So he's someone that can help me and go through. Now, I have specifically put something like this up because I think this is a really good activity for you to do in terms of your digital skills, because it's not just creating a poster, it's not just creating a fact file, it's actually bringing things together and looking at different ways that we can do it. And I know from looking at a lot of the things that have been happening on social media, you know, Miss Hans, I just saw you come in there at St Marnock's with some of the things that have been happening with your digital skills and, you know, making gifts and all these types of things. That's awesome. That's brilliant to see. And it's great that this is being shared. There's all of these kind of different opportunities that you have that aren't just being creative in a single way. Like that looks, to me, that looks pretty good. Would you be shocked to know that that only took me a couple of minutes this morning, right? Because all I needed was an idea. And technology helps us do things quickly, more proficiently, helps us get different things going together. And I really love technology for that aspect. Some of you might have joined in with the guys from Tech She Can. This was on Wednesday. And the guys from Tech She Can did a session on, it was still a little bit around sustainability. Didn't really tie into Solarpunk Island, but what we looked at was something like sustainable vehicles, sustainable transport, so electric vehicles. So I designed this little car here. I drew this little car on my iPad, and I just kind of shown the different ways as it's going together. Now, you could do something like that. You could design your own electric vehicle or your own hybrid vehicle. You could use PowerPoint or Keynote or Notes or Sketch.io or Sketches School or any type of app that you have to bring together the different shapes and kind of say, this is my electric car, this is what makes it run. It's also got a steam engine in the back in case I run out of electricity. All I need is a fire to help the car go. Something like that, right? Different ideas that you can bring together. Later on Wednesday, we had the amazing Alan from Make It Happen, who took us through app designing and app prototyping. Now, I've had a little bit of a play with this, and I didn't use Thunkable. What I had the idea of was, why don't you use PowerPoint? Again, it sounds like I'm talking about Keynote, PowerPoint for everything, but to be honest, these apps are amazing when it comes to different ways that you can design and create things, because it's a different approach. It's not just using it. It's I think as learners and teachers in the room, you'll probably agree with this, but I think what we need to use is the stuff that we have available to us. You know, it's great that there's 14 million thousand apps out there. In fact, I think there's over 1 million apps on the iOS App Store alone that have had 1 billion downloads. I think the last count it was 1.3, 1.4 million apps available in the App Store. That's a lot of apps. Okay, do we need to use those for everything? I don't think so. So Alan, absolutely, as he was saying, he did the Pup Olympics. But what I have done, and I'm going to show you my iPad screen, is I've created this Go Green app prototype, right? And I'm going to take you through this. So I'm going to move my cursor over onto my iPad screen. There we go. So you should be able to see that orange cursor moving now. So if I show you a few different things, you can see I've got a link here. Oh, and I think that has just crashed Keynote. Yay. Good one, Martin. So let's do something a wee bit different. Still see my iPad screen. There we go. It's back. It's alive. It lives. Right. So what we're looking at is links. You link to a slide. So an app prototype can be done on paper. You can think about if I was to create something and bring it together. Now, we have videos for these sessions are all going to be in our YouTube channel. And we've got a video about app prototyping. Now, app prototyping can be done at any age. And do you know the best part about app prototyping is you don't need to have any coding skills. All you need to have is an ability to know what you want something to look like. So if you notice, all I have here are bits of text. I have a link. And when you look at the link, this links to a slide and it links to slide 2. That means it's going to move on to the next slide. On slide 2, I have an arrow, and that one is going to link to slide 3. Are you getting the idea here? When I go to continue, and in PowerPoint, these are called hyperlinks. On Keynote, it's just called links. And on slides, it's also called links. So just if you're using any of these, you can put them all together. But you want to see what this app looks like when it's running. Yeah. So if I press play, just like I would a normal presentation, wrong way, Martin. You've actually pressed play on the screen instead of on your iPad screen. That was a bit silly of you. There we go. If I press play on my iPad there. Oh, it really doesn't like this sometimes, does it? There we go. So here's my app. Now I can't click to go forward or back. I can only tap get started. I tap get started. I could say, right, how many people live in your household? Let's go with 4, right? Because there's 4 people in my house. There's me, there's my wife, there's my son, and there's my daughter. So I've got 4 people. You could change this number to be any number you want. And thanks for putting that link in, Eva. That's our app prototype one that we did at Christmas time for Arctic Breakout. Talks you through how to create it. Tap continue. And it says, right, the average American, so we might change this, produces 4.4 pounds of trash in a day. Apply that average to your household and it equals 17.6 pounds of trash in a day. Right, so I've created this app that's all about a bit of sustainability. If I tap on my forest, accept challenge and earn rewards, so I've created this little fun app, okay, where I could say, right, I'm going to log, want to see how it all comes. Now this looks like an app, doesn't it? Right, this actually looks like an app that someone would build, and this has just been built on Keynote. Right, this could be built on PowerPoint. This could be built on slides. You could draw this out on paper. But when you look at this, this is you taking an idea and bringing it to life. That's pretty cool. So that's something that you could think about doing. That's something else that you could do next, is if we do a bit of the app prototyping, the Arctic Breakout, or creating your own sustainable app. And again, that's something that we would really love to see. Now, just to show you, if I just come out of this presentation, these are all just shapes. right? I could change the color of these if I want. I could create this to match my own style, right? There's no coding required. All that's required is knowing what I want the next slide to do. What do I want it to look like? How will it all come together? Right? And that's a big, big part of coding, is having an idea and thinking about how it all comes together. So you might build a makeshift, you might have a bit of charge in your device on your island, and you build a makeshift app that helps people log what they have found, what they have designed, what they've brought together. That could be another approach to take. Now, yesterday, and this is us just going to be wrapping up. Yesterday, if you came along, we focused on a great topic for a lot of people, and we focused on creativity. Now, creativity, I think you've already heard us talk about this morning, isn't just being able to draw a fancy picture. It's the approach that you take to solve a problem, right? And I posed a question yesterday. If you joined us, if not, that's all right, because, it doesn't matter. All of these are linked, but they're not individual. And I asked you to think about your island, right? This island that we've found where everything is different, how you might bring it together, what the landscape, the buildings, and the creatures might look like, and how you might build a place where everything comes together. And one of the things that we finished off by doing, if I come out of here, we finished off by doing yesterday was, again, thinking about how we could use Pages, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, any of these apps, Sketches School, anything that we have on our device to bring an object or an item to life. Creating an animated GIF, bringing a conversation in. And the way that we did that was I created this using Keynote and a feature called Magic Move. Now on PowerPoint, it's got a different name, so I'm going to ask, can any of the pupils who were here yesterday remember what the PowerPoint version was called? On Keynote, it's called Magic Move. What was it called on PowerPoint? Began with a name, and it's also the name of a plasticine character, if that helps the teachers, although I might just be showing my age. Morph, well done, Mr. Robertson's class. Nice to see, absolutely spot on. It was called Morph. So these tools, which are kind of thought of originally as presentation tools, can also be used as ways for you to express your knowledge and your understanding and your different approaches. And that's really what we want to encourage you to keep doing. We really want you to keep using these and thinking about them in different ways. So if you remember, I just took the same shape and I moved it. So each of these slides, now you could do this as a drawing if you wanted to be really creative. You could do this as a drawing and then insert it as a picture, right? So you could draw on a bit of paper, you could take a picture with your device, or you could use Keynote, PowerPoint, Sketch.io, Notes, Sketches School. All of these tools that are on devices have the ability to export as a picture. So you could then just put them in to iMovie or to Keynote or to PowerPoint, because they all have the option to export as a GIF or as a movie. So when I press play on this one, I've just got it going automatically, and it's brought my iPad to life, and it's turned it into Mike Wazowski. And the idea that I had with this was, this is the monster that you've encountered on your journey on the island. Now, one thing that we didn't explore that we could have done was recording a voiceover. So we could have exported this, right, as a GIF, or the other option we could have done is, let me get my pointer over so you can see it. There we go. Is going up to the top here and exporting it. And it's done again. Is exporting it. Nope. Done it again. And exporting it as a movie. When you export it as a movie, which really doesn't like my iPad today. You take all of the slides, I take this right down, and I tap export. exports it as a movie, and I can save that. Okay, so I've got those options where I could save it and I could then put it into iMovie, or I could record a voiceover and I could give my character a voice, right? So there's different ways that we can do that. So where do we go with this? What do we do next? How can we take things forward? So I asked you to think about your island. I asked you to do this in different ways. And for this part of today, we're going to use, I'm sure you've already been doing it, but this is really kind of like a sharing and celebration session. So this isn't going to be as hands-on as it was yesterday, and we're only maybe going to do about another 10 or 15 minutes today because I've got a few other things that I want to show you. So there are two tools. Now, this one is mostly iPad based, but there are two tools that you could think of next. One of them is called AR Maker, which is on iPad. It's an exclusive iPad app. It's a great way to kind of take elements, take tools, bring them together and put them into your class. So if you wanted to visualize what things on your island could look like and you've got an iPad, you could do this. Your other way that you could build things within your island was Minecraft, right? We could have done that where you went into Minecraft, designed your island, brought it all together. That's great if you have access to Minecraft. Your other option is one called SketchUp, right? Where you've got let me just come out of this and let's open up Microsoft Edge and show you SketchUp. I think it's called SketchUp or Shaper 3D. There's so many names for all of these different ones. So I think it is, yeah, SketchUp. So the website that you go to is app.sketchup.com, right? And this is a 3D modeling tool. Now this can take a bit of skill to master, right? But I'm just using a trackpad here. And all I've done is I've started to create a hut. It's not the best, I'll grant you, because I'm still getting used to it. I haven't used this too much, but I'm having a play with it. I'm getting a go. You can see there's different things here that will show me how to do. Oh, I've got the select tool. So I've got the select tool. Then I could add something to it if I wanted to. So I could go to my pen and I could add something here. I could take it to here. And you can see it's filled it in. So that's almost like me. And then if I wanted to go around here, I do the same again. So let's select, let's hold the option, go to my pen. I'm going to click, we'll put that there. So I'm beginning to create this kind of slopey roof. So I could start to build my website. I could start to build my hut. So this is app.sketchup.com, and you can use your Glow login for this. So you can log in with your Glow Microsoft or your Glow Google account that you can use that if you want to have a go with this. It's app.sketchup.com, and that works in the browser. So if you're using laptops or Chromebooks, you might have another tool that you use for building 3D models, but this is one that I've seen that works quite well. But the next thing I want to show you is back to this app AR Maker, just to show different ideas of things that you could do. And this is things with iPads, which I know some local authorities on the call definitely have. So let's take a look at what you can do with it. You might already have had a go with this app. You might have tried a few different things, but this is just an idea of how you can bring your learning to life, your idea to life in a setting around you. So I'm going to come out of Keynote and I'm going to go to a website called pixabay.com, which you might have already used. In fact, I mentioned it yesterday. The reason I like using Pixabay is that this magic word right here, magic word that says the word free. 67 plus free hut vectors images. That's all I did was I did a search for huts. I might do a search for trees. And I've changed my drop down from images to vectors. Vectors are just shapes, colored shapes and things that you can use. So if I do a search for trees, let's tap accept, go through, there's different ones that I could use. Remember, we've got some palm trees, and so I might get some more of those. I could get a Christmas tree so that, you know, I could decorate it myself. But all I'm going to do is just look for some trees that I might want to use. In fact, I'm just going to, I've already saved it. But if I do it again, if I go to my trees and I press and hold, whoops, and I do save to photos, or if I'm on a browser, if I'm on a laptop, right click, save to photos. Let's see, what else? I've got trees, I've got huts. Throw it out to you guys. What else should I see on my island? Don't worry, there won't be any pineapples on pizza, because some people said that was sacrilege yesterday. But what are some things that I could put onto my island? What could I have?
Coconut.
Coconuts. Awesome. Let's go with coconuts. Nice. So in fact, I'm going to take this one because it's a good pigs. Okay, Mr. Calvin. We're already thinking about the bacon rolls on a Saturday morning. Perfect. So I'm going to save that to photos. Pigs and horses. Okay. So we're thinking about how we're going to get round the island. We're going to think about what we eat when we're on the island. I maybe won't take the two smiley. I won't take this guy. Okay. Because who would really want to eat someone that looks that cute? Or this one that's sitting there looking that cute.
Snakes in a boat as well.
Okay, we've got snake. No. Oh, snakes.
I wonder if that's the same class that made flags with skulls and crossbones earlier.
Could be that I think that might have been. So let's see. We had horses. Let's get a few different things. This is great ideas. We won't take the rocking horse, although we could make a rocking horse, I suppose. We're Scottish. We need to. Yeah. Will we take the unicorn? Right. Let's take the unicorn because we're finding some mythical creatures. Let's take some dragons. I saw that one. Great ideas. Keep them all going. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this silhouette of a dragon because I want it up in the. I want it up in the background. Okay. Save that to photo. I want. Someone said an abandoned ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say shipwreck. Okay. See, this could also be in the background. Oh, I've also got the Loch Ness monster. But let's take the silhouette of a shipwreck because that's almost like that could be the yacht that we were on that abandoned us, that got us abandoned on the island. A volcano, a couple more ideas. Again, put it in the background. Oh, this could be quite good if I had this in the background and I had the dragon just flying around it. That could build quite a good scene in my head, couldn't it? Right, brilliant ideas. I will tell you what, I will go through, use all these ideas, and I will produce something on Twitter for everybody to see and have a go with. How about that? Okay, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this scene as part of my island. All right. So I'm going to come out of Pixabay. I'm going to come out of there, and I'm going to go into AR Maker. Right now, there are other apps that are out there that do this, but AR Maker is kind of the easiest one for everybody to use. So AR Maker is just down. It's that kind of purple one in the bottom corner. And as I open that up, it takes you through a few different things. It says, here's what you're going to do. I'm just going to tap skip, and then I'm going to tap accent. Now, I'm doing this on my desk. Now, my desk is quite cluttered. So if you're doing this in your class, you want to make sure that you have a nice big open space. You have somewhere to do some things. This is tethered to my MacBook. So my iPad's tethered to my MacBook, I should say. I should probably get my cable. So I've got a wee bit more room to play with. There we go. And I'm going to use my class. So if in fact, I've got a little box here that I could use. Might work. Let's tap start, access the camera, okay. Access the microphone, okay. And you can see there's some scenes there that you could use. In fact, there's Ocean Adventure that already exists. We've even got Japan, London, but we're going to create our own scene. So when I create my own scene, I'm going to tap start. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to have me find an area. Now you can see my daughter's left a pen on the floor, which doesn't help. But I am going to take this big space that I have here. If I can move around a wee bit. Perfect. So this is my space. This is where I'm going to put things on my island. Now you can see down the side, see the word new? That's where I'm going to start. I'm going to tap new and I'm going to go down to the folder icon, which is the fourth button down on the left-hand side. You've got back, paint, camera, folder. When I tap in the folder, this is the first time I'm using it on this iPad, so I will say allow full access. And here you can see all of the assets that I have downloaded. So here are my palm trees. That looks good. Happy with that. They're now there. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to add in all of my elements. So let's put in my volcano. Let's put in my shipwreck. And you can't see that because it's black, but you see down the side there, they're all beginning to come in. Let's put my dragon in because I was really happy with that idea. That was giving me a bit of creativity. Tap new again. And this, you just go through and do this. Let's put the unicorn in because we're Scottish and it's our national animal. Let's put the pig in because we need the bacon rolls. Let's put a hut in because we need somewhere to eat the bacon rolls. Let's put the coconut drink in because we need something to drink with the coconut roll, with the bacon rolls. Good one, Martin, you're sounding. Okay, that's looking quite good. So now all I'm going to do is place my elements onto this space that I have. So I'm going to start with my volcano. You can see there we go. And if I pinch to make it bigger and I move it further back, I could place it there. Okay. Then if I take my dragon, oh, he's really big, but I want to make him a bit smaller. So I just use my fingers to pinch, put him in the background. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap the arrow underneath the word place, and I'm going to move up so that my dragon is flying in the sky. I'm going to take my ship and I'm going to move that in right into the background, make it smaller because that's the reason we're here. So when I'm thinking about the size of things, I'm thinking about how close they are, how far away they are. The closer something is, the bigger it is, the smaller something is. So that dragon must be huge in real life. Okay. And if I take my, go through, find my hut, let's make that big because that's where I'm going to stay. Make it a wee bit smaller. Place that there. All right. Now it doesn't mean that everything's lost. If I click this up, you can see behind the hut, as I move through, my dragon's still there, and this is where my cable's getting a wee bit stretched. You can see stuff, but if I move it around, you can see my dragon's there. You can see the bottom part of the volcano. So you can really start to build and bring your island to life, right? I could even take the pig and make him a wee bit smaller and place him in front of the hut. So you're able to get up and move around and do different parts with it. And then when you're happy, you can go through and you can add in. So I might need to go back and find some elements that I could use. But what I could then do is when I'm happy is tap the arrow above new and I could record a video and I could say, welcome to my island. This is my hut where I'm going to stay. This is Peppa and Peppa's going to be my lunch in the morning. My breakfast in the morning, Saturday morning bacon rolls. I'm not going to go too far because you can see my ship is in the background. There's a volcano, but then when I first landed on this island, I found this big dragon. So I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to hide in my hut. Okay, so you can create this little video that again gives you the opportunity to be creative, to think about what you're doing, to think about how you're putting everything together. What does it look like? What does it sound like? You could do this with SketchUp. You could do this with different elements, different ideas. I'm actually just going to come out of there because you guys are seeing a few things on my desk. And as you're going through and you're putting it together, you've got all of these different ideas. Now, even if you don't have iPads or AR Maker or things like that, which I know some schools don't, it would be great if every school had everything going together. What you could still do is produce this in PowerPoint or Keynote. You just have to think about Morph and Magic Move, because you can even build a scene. And just to show you, this is where we're going to finish up, because again, I'm just trying to give you so many different ideas that you could take away. Let's see what this one looks like. Now, I saw yesterday, and forgive me if I get, was it Miss Hands? Were you doing the stuff with GIFs with your class? Is that right? Were you guys drawing pictures and creating things? Was that St. Marnock's? Was that right? Or was it a different class? I might be wrong with that. But I was seeing some things on Twitter about things that were being shared, which is awesome. It's great to see that. But it's also about how you bring everything together, right? Someone mentioned a horse, right? About having a horse on the island. I have this Keynote PowerPoint set of slides that are the different frames of an animation. And as I bring my animation to life, this would create a running horse. Right? So I've got slides 1 to 17. So if I export this, same as I did yesterday, as an animated GIF, and I take all of my slides and I tap export, and I have a running horse that I could use as an element on a video, that I could use on an animation. So I could, again, start to build these tools together and talk about how they can, and again, on our YouTube channel, we have tutorials for all of these. We're going to be updating them. We're going to be going into a bit more detail. We might need a campfire on our island. So I've done the same thing here, where if I export this as a GIF and take all of my slides, gives me a roaring campfire, keeps me warm. So all I've done here is, if you think about animation, if you think about creating an image, it's stop motion, isn't it? It's just, and I know that, speaking to some of you in the chats the other couple of days, you've all said that stop motion is a big thing that you do. Well, you don't need a camera to do stop motion. You can do stop motion using pages on a slide, or pages in a book creator, or pages in a My Story. Whatever app you're using, whatever tool you're using, you can bend it, morph it, shape it to whatever it is that you want to do. Then you can be really kind of clever with it. This is not, this is the one I want to show you. So here is just an animation that's been created that shows my island. My island's really hilly. It's got some sun. Oh, there's a wolf. There's a deer. So there's a couple of friendly things. That's okay. Looks like there's a big eagle at the top there as well. So that is just a set of slides. Or if I was stuck in the desert and sunrise happened, I can bring together, there's some horses. Okay, so wild horses, there's going to be some transport. Flock of birds might have to watch just in case they're vultures. there's loads of ideas that you can come up with, loads of different approaches. You can see there's just a couple of elements. And these, believe it or not, guys, these are just GIFs that I've just created as slides, exported as a GIF and saved it, that I could then put onto my slide. And then what I've done is, using the Animate tool, I've created a motion path. Because what that does, and again, this works on PowerPoint as well, but using a motion path, drawing the path that I want it to follow, it walks along the path. Now, I know that's looking a bit jittery on your slide, but honestly, it moves really, really smoothly, because when he's walking, it looks a bit jittery. It's just because that's going via a cable and over the internet. But I'll put this available for people to download. I'll put a link onto Twitter so that you guys can download it and have a look at it. I'll even put some of the GIFs in so you can see. Even the bird is a flying GIF. So you can bring your ideas to life. Now, if I just show you, okay, we have a polar bear, and these are all just different slides. But each slide is the polar bear doing something different. So when you're working through these, Scottish Digital Literacy Week 2024 is done, but digital literacy, digital skills don't stop. Remember, I said if you were on the call yesterday, and what we've been sharing all week is using that hashtag SDLW24 or tagging us at digilearn.scot, or even if you're wanting to ask me a quick question, or Eva a quick question, if you get in touch with one of us, you get in touch with all of us, because we're a team that work together. We're all teachers, right? We're all educators. We're all thinking about what you guys are doing in the class and what you're all bringing together and how you're doing things. So really, what we want to see and what we want to hear and what we want to know is, what are you guys doing? How will you take these ideas forward? What will be some of the things that you will think about when you are creating? Now, there are YouTube videos. If you look for DigiLearn Scot on YouTube, and then you look for the Apple RTC, or you look for Scottish Digital Literacy playlists, we'll have all of those on digilearn.scot as well. So teachers, you can find those videos. Those are resources for you to use. These are ideas that you can take away, because we want to give you that spark. We want to give you that idea, but we don't want it to stop there. Okay? We really don't want it to stop, because if we just focus on it for 1 week, right, and I'm going to stop sharing there.